Hi everybody, welcome back. Dr. C at the channel, reviewing another pair of slide rules for you today, this time by K&E. K&E had a number of great slide rules, and this is one of my favorites, so not my very favorite. I want to point out, since I've talked about these things before, the case material and case design by K&E was really pretty good. They have a pretty stout leather that they used and a durable tab here that held the fastener down so the slide rule didn't come out. One difference between it and the style of cases that Pickett used routinely was that Pickett had seams down both sides of their slide rule. K&E only had one side seamed, and they usually did a really good job of it so it wouldn't split. But a noticeable difference between K&E and Pickett was that the slide rule itself was in contact with the leather. There's no plastic sheath in the K&E model sheath design, and so it did tend to rattle around a little bit more in the case, and the cases were more likely over time to get compressed and smashed over the time between now in the 2020s compared to back in the 1940s or 50s, maybe 60s when they were made. And despite that, the K&E slide rules that I've found were generally in very good shape, despite sometimes the cases were a bit ratty. But this one here, this is the 4181-3. That's the model number that you'll find on the center slide for this particular K&E model. I'm going to show you in a little bit the 4081-3. It's virtually the same slide rule, but I'll tell you why I like this one a little bit better in a second. First of all, I just want to review the layout and the slide rule scale selection that they have on this particular model. They have the D folded, C folded, and the inverse folded scales available. I like that. They have log-log scales, LL2, 3, and their paired inverse scales on the opposite stator. I wish they had the LL01 and LL1 scales on the same side so I could see them all at once, but the Desalon model that we'll review at another video has that, so I can use that if I really want to. Another nice feature about this particular model is the material that they used is this synthetic plastic that was very easy to maintain and keep clean. It was high contrast. The width that they used left the scales very readable, in my opinion, and the cursor was wide open no matter where you wanted to see. The extreme edges of the stators were still very visible through the clear cursor. The hairline is very hairline. It's very thin, making accuracy easy for me as my eyes aged. And compared to the 4081-3, which I'm going to bring over here now, I prefer the 4181-3 because, here, do you see the difference in the whiteness of these materials? So that's because the earlier model that they made, that K&E made, let's see, there's your designation there, 4081-3. The difference being that this one is made out of mahogany. You see that wood in there with a laminate on top that was glued, and so it's two different materials. And while this slide rule that I have is in really good shape, many of the 4081-3s that I have seen, and one or two that I've bought, that laminate comes away. It starts to separate off of the mahogany. And while back in the day, this is copyright, what does it say? Copyright 1947. Copyright 1947, right there. Back in the day, these were kind of like the executive style. They were probably more expensive, and people wanted a nice, mahogany slide rule. It's got this really quite smooth, even today, action that did not require any lubrication, really, the way the all-metal Pickett slide rules did. And so people really liked this style of slide rule. But now, 50, 60, 70 years later, they're starting to come apart. They're dingy. It's very difficult, I believe, for me to restore the, I don't know, the whiteness, the brightness of, say, a 4181-3. And this one here is very easy to restore to its original brightness when compared to the 4081-3 by K&E. Even though they're exactly the same scales, same layout, everything. But that's a difference that I find bothers me between these two models, and I don't use a 4081-3 anymore. If you're a collector, go for it. Call me. I'll sell you mine. But these are much preferable, I think, these 4181-3. And then the 6-inch version, which is pretty much what my daily carry, because it's so easy to read, brilliant white, easy to maintain, silky smooth on the action, and I prefer it over the 4081-3. Okay, we're going to call it quits for today, and we'll see you next time on the channel.